Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Learn Dirt Rally. This is Joe, and with me is...
Hello, I'm the Scruffy one. You may know me as that guy who also pretends to be Batman.
Ooh. So, we're almost done with the series. And...
Of the Let's Learn series?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow, really? It's only been... Huh.
It's only been more than a year. So this is the 2000s. We'll be taking out a good car, that being not the Subaru. Fuck the Subaru.
Nice. So, this game came out, what, 2 years ago? 1 year ago? Or is it still coming out?
It was in early access, I think, at the end of 2014 and came out, like, officially in 2015.
Okay. Does it have any of the 2010s cars, or is this as recent as it gets?
It does have a few 2010s cars. There's a Hyundai, I think a Citroen, and yeah, maybe a couple Fords as well.
See, Citroen is one of those brands that I've only seen now that I've been in Europe, and
oh yeah,
it's just different. It's not bad, just different. So tell me about why the Subaru is garbage, please.
It understeers a lot. It also has really tight gearing, so that in a lot of stages you can actually max it out, like get to max speed, and that's a problem when you could be going faster.
Oh yeah, so it's just, you know, below top speed. So if you have something like, not exactly straightaways, but places where you can open up, that's you're not getting your best. But does it have any benefits to it, like on a lot of on courses that have like all kinds of curves or hairpins? Does it perform better there? Because you have a better acceleration.
No. Like I said,
it's just bad.
It understeers a whole lot, and
oh yeah, that'd be bad for curves.
Yeah, you really have to put in a lot of effort just to get the oversteer going.
Yeah, that's no bueno. So what car are we driving here? It looks like might be a Ford.
This is a 2007 Ford Focus RS. And
why? And you think this one's the best of the 2000s?
Oh, well, it's fast. It oversteers really easily, but only when you really want to. Like, you still have to put in some effort to get it cornering, but it's less than the Subaru.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
So, this is the snow level, that being Sweden. This is the first time in the series that I've actually used full manual transmission, and the reason for that is that the snowbanks along the course, they require you to be usually at the top of the rev range to get out unscathed. So what you generally want to do is shift a little shorter on the road proper, but as soon as you smash into any of the snow, gear down immediately just so that you get that much more torque to get out.
Okay. And does the snow have any impact on gameplay, or is it mostly just visual?
Oh, it's definitely having a lot of impact.
A little bit more slippery.
It's to the point that the same corner on compacted snow and powdered snow, you want to do 1 gear less and about 20 kilometers per hour less through a corner on powdered snow than in compacted snow.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, if you've got a 2 on powdered, you probably want to take that pretty slowly.
Oh yeah. It's terrifying. It's that's one of the reasons I like this game. It's terrifying.
Is there a good visual distinction between powdered snow and compact snow, or is it just kind of
not as much as I'd like?
You really have to pick it up as you go.
Like you can see, we're going from powdered snow now to compacted. And compacted snow is mostly brown.
Okay, so it's more a case of the road's distinct when you're on compact, but when you're on powdered, it's mostly you just have the 2 tracks.
Yeah.
Or the track marks to show you. Okay. Yeah, I dig it.
But one thing that gets me is that the car doesn't act all that much different until it does. Like,
How do you mean?
It's difficult to describe. Like, acceleration is very similar, and like when you start steering, initially it's identical until you start sliding sideways.
Oh, and is that the difference on the snows, or?
Yeah, just how the car acts in general. Powdered snow just it sneaks up on you a lot.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, in real life, if you're driving in the rain or something, you know, hydroplaning is a real thing, and it's terrifying too.
Oh yeah.
You know, at least here it's just in video games, but it's still not nice to go flying off somewhere. You know, at least this one will place you happily back on the track after it laughs at you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is all this snow kind of interfering with your normal track times? Because I'm noticing a lot of red there on the left.
No, that's just me going up against the elite times. I think no, it's not elite. It's masters, the highest difficulty. I tend to pick those even though I can't really beat them every time. And also there's the fact that I have not been in this car like in the championship, which means that I don't have all the upgrades, which means like.
So you're still driving the stock car?
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less. Like, if you go through the upgrade tree, there's a better turbo that, like, has more low-end torque and also more high-end as well.
Yeah, so you can give yourself some sweet nitrous, you know, get that little boost on the speedaways. I'm pretty sure that's how this game works, from what I've seen.
There's no nitrous, come on!
Unless I've learned nothing, that's entirely possible.
I kind of maybe should have mentioned that, you don't get to use nitrous. That's, against tournament rules.
Oh, okay. Neat.
But, like, you get kind of a similar effect out of staying in the high end and that way working up your turbo boost.
So you don't get like a button you can press to get a little speed boost, but
unfortunately
mostly
not.
Yeah, but mostly it just comes down to something like, you know, if you can stay on a straightaway without, you know, too many turns, then you'll be more comfortable and you'll get a better top speed and you'll have better timing. So it's less a case of, oh, this is a good place to press my button, and more a case of, I don't need to press the button because I've just been driving well. Is that?
Well, you don't need to press the button because nobody else gets to press the button.
Yeah, nobody gets to press the button, so it's not like you're.
You just gotta be good.
Yeah, it's not like your improved times come because, you know, you have optimal nitrous usage. your better times come because, you know, you're not driving like a dingus.
Speaking of which, thinking I would very much be into a new Grid game, like that's more similar to Grid 2. More about street racing and like ridiculous shit like using nitrous at the right time.
Okay. I mean, I think well, if you're gonna do the street racing angle, are you looking for like a story mode with it that would have you get chased by the cops, or one of those modes, and just have fun with it and just focus on the street racing?
Like official street racing. You know how like in Monte Carlo, there's the Grand Prix.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I follow you. Yeah, because most of this game is all focused on like the dirt rally, and I gotta tell you, I've never seen a dirt rally event. I mean, I've seen videos of it, but I mean, I can't imagine, you know, having just seen parts of Europe recently, you know, they have a lot of roads like this that just go through these small little areas or stuff like that, and they have these old highways, you know, these kind of areas where you can say, you know, I can actually see where this used to be a pathway between villages.
Also,
yeah,
a lot of these are logging roads.
Yeah, logging areas where there's not really that much in the way of civilization or crossroads.
Like the only demand officially is for a road for a truck to carry lumber.
Right. Yeah, so maybe it's one of those things I never see because I don't typically live close to those kinds of areas.
No, I mean, there's basically not a lot of civilization around those roads, like you said. so
Right.
not a lot of jobs either.
Yeah, but every time I've seen them, you know, because you see sometimes stuff on TV, you always have a pretty big turnout. Like seeing the stuff with people along the sides of the roads, you know,
Oh yeah,
that's pretty common.
and they're
You know,
always...
the only thing this game is missing, is, you know, spectators jumping out in the middle of the road to try and get a picture or something.
Oh yeah, they don't let you do that anymore. I think I'd like to see like a Group B mode where you honestly have to dodge spectators like that. But then again, I'm kind of conflicted about that because this game has very little regard for the lives of people. Like, as soon as you kill somebody, you lose 15 seconds, but then if you lose...
but it just plops you right back on the road and says, off you go.
Yeah, but then there's, if you lose a tire and you decide to replace the tire, that's 1 minute and 30 seconds. I think that's about 8 times more.
Six times more, because so basically a tire is worth 6 people.
Yeah. A piece of rubber is worth 6 people. At least.
Are there any situations in which you would want to maybe plow through 6 people in order to avoid having to change a tire?
I think there's a few turns.
Let's say 5 people.
I think there's a few turns you could be cutting. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you plow into 5 people, you will not only avoid losing the tire, but overall you will have a net gain in time.
You say that, but I thought you were. I thought you meant like if they weren't there. By that time, like at that point, yeah, you could probably be cutting a few corners.
If you hit one person, then I know it sets you back on path. But yeah. Because I know I've seen some of the videos of the game, like you get an oil leak or you damage your transmission. I don't know what kind of effect that has on gameplay.
Oh right, that's one of the few parts where this game is kind of unrealistic because it's just a flat tax on your acceleration and max speed. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if I want the damage model to be more realistic. Like, I was already kind of overwhelmed when I first played Grid, and like, you're in a very slippery, kind of a brittle car, and it's difficult to even finish a race with that kind of damage model.
I mean, I'll admit that I'm not a car smart guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can wrap my head around transmission damage, but over the course of a rally like this, what sort of issue would an oil leak have on you? I can't imagine it would be...
It's usually just the radiator that goes out of whack, because that's at the front.
Right, radiator. Right. So what kind of impact would that have, like, in real life, not in video game life? If your radiator got knocked up during one of these dirt rallies?
Well, like, with mild damage, I'd say that you have warmer air going into the intake, like the air intake, which means that each explosion happening within the combustion chamber is dirtier. Like, you don't get that clean burn that gives you more power.
You don't get the purity of the burn that really shoves you along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As the radiator gets worse, the engine starts overheating. You can't really risk running the engine as hot as you could.
Oh yeah, and that'll cause some serious long-term damage too if you try to make it through the... I imagine if you drive at this kind of intensity for 5 minutes, that can cause it could cause some long-term damage.
Oh yeah, that's not really a problem with rally driving because you can just swap out everything.
Oh, just that quick, huh?
Well, there's a lot of time between events.
That's true.
I mean, early anti-lag systems were really damaging to cars.
Well, I will tell you that I learned something today in this Let's Learn of Dirt Rally.
Oh,
I appreciate that.
I'm kind of fond of that fact. Thank you.